I want to talk to you a little bit about the relationship between you and your idea. So you have a good idea and you believe in this idea and you think that you innovate, you think you add a lot of contribution to the field. There are some relationship you have to develop with your idea. First, you have to believe and doubt your hypothesis at the same time. It's not very easy thing to do, because why do you have to believe your hypothesis? Sometimes you'll get contradicting results. Sometimes you run experiments, they don't work. Maybe you'll get some analysis with some noise and then the effect disappears. So if your idea is good, maybe you need different data, maybe you need different model, maybe there is something there, that mistake that you made, and the idea is correct. So if you don't believe in your idea, then maybe you just give up and let the noise destroy the entire paper. This is why you have to believe it. Why you have to doubt it? Well, because everyone doubts your paper. The reviewers will doubt it. You don't want the reviewers to find so many problems that then they would say, okay, so it's too much to move the needle, and then we need to reject the paper. So you need to doubt, you need to be your own reviewer, and this is very difficult state of mind, both believe and doubt. You have to be committed. Committed means that when you are, let's say you take a shower and you have a thought, so you run out and you have to write your thought because it adds value to your paper. Now, this is not something that comes just from your personality. It is something that comes from the idea. If your idea, and that this is subjective, you have to, maybe I should say, it's not enough to love your idea. You have to be in love with your idea. It means that you think of your ideas, you think about your research also during the shower, also when you're commuting. And not because you have to, not because you have the ability to commit yourself to something. It's because this is the relationship between you and your idea. So when you develop an idea for a paper, make sure, and this is totally subjective, no one can tell you how much you can be in love with your idea. It's only you. So you have to find out whether these ideas excite you. And if not, wait a little bit. Wait until you find the right idea for this, because we don't have too many journals. We have, like, let's say 4 journals. Some disciplines or some fields have only 2 relevant journals in the top journals. You don't want to miss that. So you need, life is tough anyway. So you need to find the kind of idea that you are willing to work hard for them, and you're willing to sacrifice, because research requires sacrifices. It's not just the traveling, it's just not just the emotional reaction to rejections or to review that requires a lot of work. It's difficult process. It's very intense, very emotional. So this is why you need to make sure that these ideas can carry you through this process. This is why I would put a lot of emphasis on the idea. Another advice for you is to write the paper the minute you have the idea. Yes, of course, you cannot write the whole paper, but you can write the outline of the introduction. You can write even, you know what? Some papers I used to write the results. I didn't have any data. I didn't have any, but I wrote the results in order to understand what is going to happen. Now, of course, perhaps the results that eventually will be generated are different. Yes, of course, it might happen. But when you write the results, when you write the paper, when you write the bullets in the literature review, then you understand your idea better. Writing is part of the thinking. And then you can test whether the idea is the kind of idea that can carry you through that. And you have also to remember that brains are not enough. You also need some courage, because people will criticize you, especially when you give talks in conferences and seminars. People will criticize because this is our job. We have to criticize. We have to doubt what we find. So you need some courage also to stand against the fancy schmancy criticism in order to survive it and move to the next stage. But there are also some good news. In our field, we have more problems than researchers. Let's take mathematics, for example. In mathematics, most of the known problems are known. There are teams that work all over the world. And there are a lot of mathematicians. They work all over the world to solve these problems. They compete, and they even know about the progress that the other teams work. It's very intense, a lot of tension in our field for a few reasons. First, we are little, so we don't have so many researchers as other disciplines like physics or economics or psychology. We have more problems. We are very diversified, and guess what? Things change. I still remember that when I wrote my first papers, I had a dream. I wanted to write a paper that contradicts my paper, that finds a mistake in my own paper. It happened because reality changed. Things that we knew about stuff changed, but also the dynamics changed. Influencers, for example, are different people. People who used to be influencers 10 years ago are not the people that influence today. So that was just an example. So there are a lot of problems to solve, and we don't have too much competition. So once you find your idea, once you develop your relationship with this idea, you are not under any competition. The only competition is, again, the 6 years clock that I mentioned before, with the time to get to a paper, and as well as the time that takes to generate the entire, what we call the paper, the entire support, empirical evidence. That takes time. But other than that, you don't have any other pressure. You don't have to compete with other people. It is very rare to find in our field that similar papers were competing each other. I've seen this, but it happens only rarely.